Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be doing a video on my vegan story. I find these videos so interesting to watch. I think I'm such a nosy person and so curious about everyone's backgrounds with veganism and everything like that. I just love watching them and I can binge watch a whole bunch. So I thought maybe I would contribute to the selection and I do my own vegan story. And I think they can be quite helpful. I think if you're not vegan and you stumble across one of these videos, I think it's quite nice knowing that people weren't born vegan and not everyone was raised in Hawaii, like off papayas. You know, people came from normal backgrounds and found veganism in so many different ways. So yeah, I'm just going to talk about how I became vegan and when and everything like that. I've actually only been vegan for about a year now. But before that I was vegetarian for quite a while. So when I was 4 I turned veggie, which I think is quite young. Basically I was at Pizza Hut and I ordered chicken wings that were my absolute favourite. I was obsessed with them and I kind of had like a moment of realisation and I asked the waitress if the chicken wings came from chickens and she was like, yeah. And after that I had to have them taken away and I didn't eat them again and I just wanted to become vegetarian because I couldn't actually believe that I'd been eating animals this whole time. And I think that would probably be a common thing with most children if they knew where their food came from. I know that so many parents like hide that from them, or they have, you know, a different animal that's eaten and a different animal that you see in the farms or everything like that. I feel like where meat comes from is quite well hidden, even like down to different names, you know, it's a burger, it's not a cow. So yeah, as soon as I realised I wanted to become veggie, even though both my parents ate meat, it wasn't like they'd influenced me in any way. I think my mum had been vegetarian a few years before, but that was before I was born or anything like that. And I did have one older sister that had also turned vegetarian a little bit before me. I think she was about 7 or 8 at the time. So yeah, it was me and her, we were both veggie. Although we ate fish, so I guess we were pescatarian at that age. Obviously I wasn't a strict vegetarian age 4. There was a lot of things I didn't even realise had meat in, like Haribos and things like that that have gelatin in, and also stuff like pepperonis I still ate because I don't think I knew that there was meat in them. I mean, let's be honest, there's probably not that much meat in them, but I ate things like that. Things I didn't realise had animals in, I still ate. And then I gave up fish when I was about 10. I never really liked fish at all. I think it was one of those things that my parents tried to feed me so I would eat something, but like there wasn't really a meal that I loved that had fish in. I would eat tuna sometimes and fish fingers, but even they grossed me out, especially when there was like black bits in them. I just didn't like them. And then there was one time that I was having tuna and I found a bone and I freaked out and I just thinking about it, and then after that I didn't eat fish again. It grossed me out anyway, so it was quite nice being able to just give it up. And then I would say I was like properly vegetarian by the time I went to secondary school, so I finally knew about marshmallows and Haribo and all the things that have gelatin in, stopped eating things like that, and obviously I wasn't eating pepperonis anymore because I was no longer 4 and I knew where they came from. So yeah, I haven't really eaten meat since I was about 4. I don't think it was even until 6th form that I'd thought about veganism. Up until then, vegans were kind of like these hippie people that didn't wear shoes, and that was kind of my image of vegans. Also, I was ridiculously addicted to cheese. I would have it on absolutely everything, couldn't go a day without it, to the point where my parents were like, oh, you need to cut back on cheese, because it was my main like source of food. So veganism is not anything I had ever considered because I didn't want to give up cheese for the life of me. And then other animal products wise, milk I never really drank. When I was a baby I was quite allergic and I was put on soy milk, and then I kind of grew out of soy milk. I didn't really want to drink it anymore, but I never really went to normal milk or cow's milk. So that was just not anything I'd ever drink or have. The only time I would maybe have it would be cereal, but I didn't like the taste. It really grossed me out, so it would have to be like a chocolatey cereal that would cover it up. Otherwise I just wouldn't want to have it anyway. So that was the only time I really had milk. And things like eggs, I was really into baking, so I would use them for baking quite a lot. I didn't have anything against eggs. If I thought about it too much it would gross me out and I would go a few months without being able to eat them, but every now and again I would have like scrambled eggs or things like that, so that wasn't something that I'd ever thought about. And then when I was about 17 or 18, when I actually stumbled across veganism, I looked into it loads. And it was something that I was just really, really interested in. I would spend hours watching vegan videos and reading vegan recipes, and it was almost like that was my new addiction, was learning stuff about veganism. But again, I was so addicted to cheese, I just didn't want to do it. And then also at the time I was living with my parents, they already had to deal with the fact that I was vegetarian. I didn't want to put veganism on them just yet. Then my other sister, so I had one that's been vegetarian since she was about 8 and one that has always been a meat eater until recently, and she became vegan just before I did, and I was kind of like, oh. So she was always telling me stuff about it, and I was learning more about it that way and all the gross stuff that went on. And I knew in my head that I wanted to become vegan. It was just when I was going to become vegan. So I took uni as like the prime time to start. I was quite lucky in the sense that at home we had almond milk and things like that, so if I did want milk I would use that. And then when I went to uni I was like, okay, I'm gonna not buy cheese, I'm not gonna buy eggs, I'm not gonna buy milk, but if anything, if I'm out or if anything I buy has milk or eggs in, then I'll eat it for the time being. So I did that for about 8 months or so, and every now and again I would buy cheese and that would slip in, or I'd have like halloumi. So yeah, I wasn't properly vegan until about March time, and it was when I went home for Easter I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I know enough about it, I know how to do it correctly, I know all these meals I can have, like I don't actually need these things anymore. And it was just things that I was holding on to because it made life easier, especially when you've just met new people at uni. You don't want to be the one person that can't order Domino's or, you know, things like that. I think I didn't want to adjust straight away. I didn't want to throw myself into uni being a full-on vegan and kind of have more things on my plate. Looking back, it's so easy to go vegan, and I should have done it as soon as I went to uni, or I should have done it as soon as I found out about veganism. But everyone does everything in their own time, and that's just how long it took me to finally take the plunge and just be like, okay, I'm vegan, that's it. And for the first couple of weeks it was quite hard, and I did slip up a couple of times. There was one time that I snuck into the kitchen and ate some cheese, and I felt awful afterwards, and then after that I didn't touch it again, and that was that. And I'm still making mistakes now. The other day I had a peanut butter Oreo because I had no idea that they weren't vegan, and they're not vegan, so there's things like that, but you can't get het up about everything. So yeah, that's my vegan story. I've only been vegan for almost a year and then veggie for a long time before that. So I hope you enjoyed and I hope you found it interesting or helpful in some way, and thanks for watching. Bye!